Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Mazatrol Tips and Tricks. If this is your first time here, my name is Phil and I teach people how to set up and run a Tailstock CNC lathe while programming it with Mazatrol. This next video is something several people asked about, and that is setting up the machine and programming for the tailstock. The first part of the video is how to set up and position the tailstock, and later I will go over how to program the machine when using the tailstock. All right, let's get started. All right, here's the machine. This is a slant turn 30 ATC/MC. So here's the part we're going to be machining. We're just going to turn a diameter on it. Right now it's a 1-inch 250 diameter, and then this is the tailstock way back here. So what we need to do is we need to manually slide the tailstock forward by attaching it to the Z axis. So how we do that is this area right here, these two tabs, those are going to engage the tailstock right back here, and this shot pin is going to stick out. And then we're going to drag the tailstock forward with the Z axis and position it manually. This can be done in a program, but for one part we're just doing it manually. All right, let's show you how that happens. All right, the first thing we're going to do is put it into handle, push the two buttons, push the Z axis, and now we're going to crank the Z axis over until we align with the tailstock. So right now we're in position. So what we need to do is push the position button right here, and then push tail body, and that pin went into position. So now what we can do is slide the tailstock forward using the jog function. So let's do that now. So we can turn the feed rate up to 240. Now we push the Z axis forward, and now it's dragging the machine tail body closer to the chuck. And we're going to position it right there. So what we're going to do now is push the position button, and now it's going to lock the tailstock into position. It'll clamp it. Now the tailstock is clamped. And the button has been disconnected from the Z axis. So the next thing we're going to do is push the tail spindle arrow forward, and that's going to engage the center. So now what we need to do is go in here in the tail body and move this limit switches so it stays engaged. now that limit switch dog is right on the switch. And we have pressure on the center. All right, next thing we're going to do is make a program. So push the left button, go to Program, go to Program File. We're going to select a work number that's not listed up here. I'm going to select work number 40. So go back to Program, push work number 40, Input. And if it's a Mazak new program, push the Program button. Mazatrol or EIA, we're going with Mazatrol. Workpiece material is aluminum. Max outside diameter of workpiece. This is the actual size of the part, but we're going to revisit this field later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the common problem that the machine has on the older T3 control and what we're going to do to avoid crashing the tailstock. So for right now, this field is going to be 1.25. The inner diameter is 0. The workpiece length, I'm going to say, is 8 inches long. Max spindle limit on this machine, I don't like running it past 1300 RPM. Finish allowance on X is 10 thousandths and 5 thousandths on Z. And the stock removal of work face is going to be 0 because we're not facing off the bar. We're going to set Z right on the edge of the bar. So first thing we usually do is turn on the coolant. M-code, coolant on. For this demonstration, I'm not actually going to run the coolant, so I'm going to leave the coolant button off in auto. So now all I'm going to do is just turn a simple diameter, bar out, 1.25, cutting point is 0, auto my feeds and speeds, and I can go a little faster on the feed rate. And the tool we're using is Tool 2, Offset 1, Tool 2, Offset 1. So Tool 2 in this machine is the same as the other smaller machine. It's a VN GP 332. So it's a 35-degree diamond turning tool. So the first thing I'm going to do is just a simple program, linear. I'm going to give it a 20 thousandths corner break, and I'm going to go 1.2 on the diameter, and I'm going to turn it back 6 inches. And surface finish, I'm going to go with number 6 to speed it up. And shape end and end. So our program is done. So right button, figure check. So here's our part. Push the store button. So what I'm going to do is zoom it out a little bit. Scale, 3 input. And then left button, go to program, check. Oh, here's the chuck. I need to move the chuck out of the way on this machine. So go to Program, File. Go -10 on the chuck Z. So now the chuck is out of the way. So now what we're going to do is check continue. All right, the next thing we're going to do is set the work shift. So we're going to move we have tool 2 called up, so move the machine over. Now we're touching the face. So go to Program, Program File, arrow up, arrow over, push Z offset teach, 0, input. So now there's the work shift for this program. So left button, position, push auto, push work number. Right now we're on work number 26. We're going to call up work number 40, input, and now we're at Z0 on our work shift. And here's our turning tool showing we're right at the end of the part. So what we're going to do is move it out of the way. And then we're going to turn the feed rate all the way down, and I'm going to show you where the machine is going to crash because it won't clear the tailstock. So this is the problem when you're running a tailstock on this machine. Depends on where the tool change point is, it's going to go to that point, index, and then rapid down, and it's going to crash into the tailstock most of the time. And that's what I'm going to show you, but I'm going to stop the machine before it happens. So here we go. So rapid down, 10%, push auto, and cycle start. All right, here we go. So it's going to its tool change position right now. Machine is going to crash if I let it continue on. So I need to stop the machine and show you how to fix this situation. So push reset. So what you do is go to the program, go into edit mode, and this OD max, we're going to change this to an 8-inch diameter, 6 or 8-inch, depends on what size your tailstock is. I usually run 8-inch to give it more clearance. So 8 inches. The bar out size is still 1.25 inches. But this 8-inch diameter right now if we go to the figure check, scale input, now it has this huge box. And what this box does is the machine will not rapid in this box on an angle. It's going to come over here, rapid down on an angle to the start point on 8 inches, drop down. It's going to rapid over to 8 inches in diameter. It's going to drop down, rough the part in one pass, rapid back up to 8 inches, rapid over, drop down, make the finish pass, and come out. So scale, let's zoom it out a little bit. And we're going to go program check, check continue. So right now it shows it dropping straight in, and then it goes up and over. But this is not what actually is happening. As we saw in the machine, it's coming from over here and coming over. So now let's go ahead and run the program. Now that we have the 8-inch in here. So auto, cycle start. So at rapid, I got the rapid turned at 10%. And I'll push single block. thousandths in the clearance on the parameters, and then 50 thousandths clearance on Z. So now it's going to rapid straight down, make the one pass, come up, come over, and then finish the part. So let's do that now. Single block off. Going all the way to 8 inches. It's going to go back to the face of the part. We can speed up the rapid a little bit now that we know it's not going to crash. All right, now we can check our part, and now we can check it for taper. On this old machine, it doesn't actually cut perfectly straight because the machine geometry is a little out of whack. It's 35 years old. So what we can do is mic the part and see where we're at. Right now the front of the part is small. So what we can do is put in a reverse taper in the program. So instead of a linear, we're going to push program and change it to a taper. And then we're going to make the front bigger than the back. But we've already cut the part without an offset, so I actually make it a little smaller. So 1.2 and then 1.195. And then program check, check continue. And because we already roughed it, we don't need to run the roughing path. So let's go over here to trace, single process, push F2 input, and now cycle start. run. Let's check it out. And that looks better. And again, the taper can go either direction. Depends on which side of the part is bigger or smaller. Ideally, you should adjust the tailstock and get it dialed in correctly, but sometimes you just need to adjust the program and get it to run. So this is how to make a straight part if the machine is not perfect. And that's a basic program how to run this machine with the tailstock and not crash the machine. If you like what you see, go ahead and push that subscribe button and click the bell so you won't miss any future videos I have coming out. If you guys found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. That helps out my channel and gets YouTube to share this video with more people. Also, if you guys have suggestions for future videos, please let me know again down in the comments. Thanks again for watching.